I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Black Dragon Biker TV. And always, I'd like to thank you guys, as always, for tuning in from wherever and no matter wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. We're on our nightly walk, and I want to tell you thank you so much for all of your condolences and wishes, best wishes for the incident that I shared with you guys a couple days ago with the occasion of the murder of a couple of members of my extended family. And like I say, any tips that you guys have or might come across or whatever, Memphis, Tennessee area for that, I would certainly be much obliged. Um, and of course, that is the murder of the two ladies. You can see that in my last video that I did that we talked about. So I'd like to talk about an interesting letter I got, and the letter was all about a. This was kind of crazy. So there's a young man that has been following me for quite some time, and I've talked to him and met him before. And he belongs to a motorcycle organization, let us say. Here's the letter right here, and the 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 subject matter is a club split. He is in a club that, for whatever reason, the two clubs, the one club is split, and so this the splitting members have created an organization that is really, really, really close to the organization that they left in terms of setup, structure, organization, and most importantly, in terms of the patch setup, how the patch looks. And the member was this guy was really upset about it. He said, "I'm a steady watcher and value your advice. Feel free to use this segment, which he called When Club Splinter." I like that. Uh, if you could modify the names a bit and make them ambiguous. So I said, sure. So I'm going to kind of para-read this to you and then give you some of my best tips, okay? So he said, our organization was established in 1977, and the new organization is only a couple months old in 2023. So the former members of my organization that broke off after reading a disparaging remark about the old chapter, the new chapter officer and chapter founder. Uh, so basically, when they broke off, clubs do this, right? At the end of the breakup, and they left and they went somewhere else. So now you get these disparaging remarks on the internet, right? These guys are horse manure, and you know how it goes. Any of you guys ever been through a club split? It's kind of, I don't want to laugh at him. I smile because this is his first time going through this. But any of us that have been in a major club for any length of time have been through this, and he's so incredulous because for him this is all brand new, and it may be brand new for you too. But if you're in any size of a club for any length of time, this is going to happen, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So after he read a negative comment about his club, a disparaging comment from the founder of the new club, he left this remark for them on I guess on their website, on their Facebook page, I see. And he attached pictures of the colors and all of that, and that's kind of, we won't really go into that, but this is the remark he left. Not for nothing. So he's upset because the colors look very much like his colors, right? From the original club. So He says, let me turn on my comments here. I didn't have that on. Okay. So he says, not for nothing. I don't know you personally. Um, uh, I don't know you personally, and I am sure you are a great person. However, if you are pulling away from something, why make it so similar to the point where it is literally a direct knockoff? Typically in the MC world, yes, are typically in the MC world, he's basically. I'm trying to not use the names. This is my first time actually reading the whole thing, so I'm let me. So typically in the MC world, you would never see in the motorcycle club world. So what he's telling this guy is, so these guys are in a motorcycle association, more like a riding club, but it's pretty big. So he's saying, I know we're both not motorcycle clubs. We had an association. You guys started an association. So typically in the MC world, and even though we're not motorcycle clubs, we're in the motorcycle club world. And so we should act like it using norms and traditions and values. And you would never see a motorcycle club, he says, take on the name. And so he names so he says you would never see like the Hells Angels, somebody break off from them and call themselves the Heaven's Demons, or the Outlaws, somebody break off and call themselves the Bad In-Laws, or the Devil's Disciples, and then someone calls themselves the Satan's servants. You would never see that. And I smile when I hear him say that, because you absolutely do see that all the time. But he doesn't think you would see that. He says it seems like a purposeful misrepresentation to be associated with our group and be misidentified as our group, because if you're in a traditional motorcycle community, to get around having to gain blessings or to have an instant acknowledgement that has not yet been not yet been earned. The biker equivalent of stolen valor. That being said, I have been the founder of a riding club, and that still has 3 chapters, and members of a new chapter support and existing support clubs before finding my fit with my new club based on its family and race neutral and gender equality values. It's hard to set up that meeting, present your colors, bylaws, structure, and why you should exist in an area, in a dominant area. And many times they will put you in soft colors and for a predetermined period of time. And so he's explaining everything that would go on if you have to do this the righteous way, the old-fashioned way. And so he closes by saying, just my opinion. I know you probably will block me, but I think that, basically it's horrible for you to do this to us. We're a 20-year-old organization, and you guys come in and do this to us. And he's just incredibly upset, and he feels like this is stolen valor. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. For him, it's the first time. This hasn't even actually happened in my nation. 20 years, 23 years ago. Well, we had 2 splits. So the first split was an amicable split. Some of our guys wanted to be 1%ers, and they decided to go off and create a 1%er motorcycle club. So we were born in 74. Those first guys split off in 75. So they didn't keep anything that looked like us. They went on ahead and did their whole own thing and became a 1% motorcycle club. Pretty cool. But the second split we had about 20 years later or so, which was still now 20 more years ago, they very much did that. They kept many elements of our name. The patch looks almost exactly the same. And yeah, in a 1% club, that wouldn't happen. It'd be a shooting war or something. But you would be surprised, even when those guys break up, a lot of times there's a whole lot of resemblance in the new patches and the new club based on the old club. And so when I got that email, the first thing I want to tell him is, bro, this is normal stuff. But why is it normal stuff? He couldn't believe. He's like, why would a motorcycle club, if you want to go and do something new and be something new, why on earth would you keep so much of what we had? And I thought about it. And so I've come up with these ideas. Number one is, typically when clubs break up like that, there is a feeling of incredible loss and disappointment and discouragement. Somehow the club did not give me what it promised. And I talk to you guys about that often because they feel like the promise they were given wasn't delivered on. Sometimes the club brothers do shady stuff, like they won't let you have a fair trial, or they won't let you be heard, or they're on some dictator BS themselves. A lot of times when you deny folks fairness, they vote with their feet. And they'd be like, all right, bro, you can have this. If you're dealing like with a tough club and the guys in the club are just as tough as you are, they know you. They know where you live. They know how tough you are. So they might not be afraid. We're going to do this and there ain't nothing you can do about it because we're just as tough as you are. Sometimes these guys the splitting party has a feeling of ownership. We worked just as hard to make this club as you did. And so we're not giving up on the 5 basic principles or the 5 stars and the colors or something. So they make something that looks very much like what they're leaving because they never wanted to leave it in the first place. And so in their mind, it's not disloyal. It's not dishonest. It's not disingenuous. We are this. We are these colors that we've been wearing. And we ain't giving them up. Or some semblance of them. I joined the Iron Concrete Riders. And now we're the Steel Concrete Riders. But, I still believe that the star of Joseph rises in the east. And so that's going to be on our colors. Because that's what we believe. Rah! And so forth and so on. And so you're faced with an interesting dilemma that club splits bring. Club splits are like that. They bring out the ugliness in everyone. They bring out the unfairness. They bring out the evil. They bring out the revenge. I did a short tonight on vengeance. And one of the biggest ways these guys get vengeance is they turn on each other and split the club. It's a great, wonderful, vengeful tactic. Get to take all the riders, take all the young guys, take your clique. This is why I tell you guys, you got to fight hard to keep the cliques out of the club, because club cliques lead to this BS all the time. So if you see your club clicking up, got to fight hard. And one of the biggest things that causes this is injustice. It be the club's own fault. Yes, it be. It be the club's own fault. The club sets itself up for this failure. Letting the president stay 2 terms because he didn't feel like he wanted to run for a vote, so he's going to change up the rules. And people who could do something about it sit silent. And other people, they vote with their feet. They be gone. They go on. So you can't be your own worst nightmare in the club. If you promise fairness and you promise freedom and you promise that the vote will carry over, one of the first things I see clubs do, man, it is funny, man. You guys are funny. You're just like the Democrats and the Republicans and the Independents and the Green Party. You guys are funny. The first thing you guys will do is rig the vote. Everybody gets a fair vote, but let's rig it so that, like the one that is really beautiful to me is, well, if we pat you over and we pat you in from another club, you don't get to vote for a year. That ain't in the bylaws. Why do people do that? Because they want to control power. And so we'll give you a patch, but not a vote. But that is just completely against a traditional motorcycle club. Because in a traditional motorcycle club, it's 1 patch, 1 vote. You guys don't even hear yourselves. I mean, like, wow. Did you hear that? It's how you secure the power. And people get in and they'd be like, that ain't how I remember this. That's not what they said when we were going to join this thing. They didn't say all that. You guys start playing FF with the rules. We're going to vote that. So it used to be that any full patch member, any full patch brother in good standing could run for an office. I watch you guys start putting things in play, like, well, you must have started 5 chapters before. Well, hell, the only person that's done that is the guy that's in office. So by that standard, nobody can run. Aha. Yeah, that's what we meant. And you think people are like blind to that. They see you, bro. They see right through you. So a lot of times these club splits come because some of you guys are so sick and emboldened and emblazoned with power that you give folks no choice. You make it to where they have no choice. And then of course when they leave, it's on bad blood, man. But they felt like I own some of this too. I'm part of this too. So I'm keeping this part. We see it with national presidents. So let's look at let's look at it this way too. Sometimes some of the things you guys do are so nasty, like you'll take a leader and the guys underneath them will feel like, okay, well, it's time to get rid of him now. And you'll do some old kind of janky BS to get rid of him. Nothing fair, nothing righteous, something janky. Then you see this leader that's done all this stuff and he has all this prestige and all this power and all these, and like half of the club backs him. And I've seen so many times where those guys will just go off and create another club. Well, hell, I created this one. I'll go create another one. And they want to take a lot of the same tenets with them that they created, that they've been living for the past 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And they never would have done that. But you were so janky. You know, if you can make up your own rules, why would you be mad at the next guy who made up his own rules? If you can make up rules, I can make up rules. And this is where these club splits come from. They come from politics and greed and power lust and power hunger. That's where they come from. And you guys just don't know how to treat one another. Then you get mad because somebody took a version of the same colors. They never gave up being the club. They never gave up being the Stone Mountain Ghost Riders MC. Please, God, don't let that actually be the name of a club. They never gave up that. They just gave you up. And your BS. That's what they gave up. And in so doing, they had no plans of giving up the colors or some version of those colors, because that's what they believed in. And that's the dream you sold them. That's the dream they believed in when they joined the club. That's what they told they were going to be able to have. It's not just this idea that, and in some cases it is, but it's not just this idea that, oh, we want it easy and we don't want to work for what we did. And because they did work. In many instances, they did work. Everybody that comes in your club and helps it to grow and brings new people in, they own that. When I made the movie Biker Boys with director Reggie Rock Bythewood, he taught me something amazing. He said I was helping him with a scene or something, and he was telling me what to do, and I was frustrated, man. I've never written a movie. I've never done that. And he said, yeah, but you write television commercials and you make videos and you write books and magazines. So let me tell you the difference. The difference in a script and a story. He said, when you write a story, you're in charge of it. When you write a book, you're in charge of that book. You're in charge of the characters. You're in charge of the development. You're in charge of the character development. You're in charge of the story. It's your baby. You wrote the book and you tell the story. But when you write a script, when your job is to write a script, and then you hand that script to your actors and your cameramen and your stuntmen and your key grip and all of those folks, they all become storytellers too. So now it's not just you telling the story. So you may see the guy, maybe he's being a plumber, maybe the lead actor is a plumber, and you see him walking around with a gray rag in his left back pocket. And you say, well, what do you got that gray rag in your pocket for? That's not part of the script. And he goes, yeah, but I've been interviewing plumbers to find out how to play the part of a plumber. And they all have a gray rag in the back in their left hand, because when they're underneath the house working, their right side is encumbered and they can always reach back with their left side and wipe what they need with the gray rag. You didn't know that. He found that out because he's telling the story. So it's not just your story anymore. It's our story. It's a we story. You understand? So a motorcycle club is like that. If you want a me-see, don't get any members. Then you get to tell the story. You get to own the motorcycle club, the me-see. But if you want an MC, everybody owns it. Everybody has a piece of it. Everybody tells the story. Everybody is involved in every piece of every inch of every parsec of it. It's ours. So when you ratchet it off to a few select people in your little clickety-click group, well, don't be surprised when they vote with their feet. Don't be surprised when they take the next step and it's a club split with a club that looks a lot like yours, with a patch that looks a lot like yours, especially if you're in the kind of motorcycle club that's not getting ready to go to war and fight and kill, you're just going to have to deal with it and swallow it. But I've even seen big clubs have to deal with it to an extent and swallow it. It is what it is. When you give people ownership, expect them to own. It's not like a swampland in the Mississippi that you sold someone that ain't there. You actually let them touch it, feel it, and put it on. And so, yeah, that's why they do those kinds of things in club splits. So try to split your club amicably. Try not to be vengeful. Try not to be mean. It's hard for some of you guys because some of y'all don't know how to act. You try not to be mean and ornery and evil. And try giving. Hell, you might find that you don't have to split the club at all. And if you do, maybe it isn't ugly. Capiche? Well, that's my time tonight. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. I'll be on in the morning with some news. Had a little time off, and it's time to get back at it. So we will be doing that. I just want to thank you guys all for your support. I'd like for you to give me a 1 down in the comment section below if you understood where I was coming from and this message had meaning to you. And make sure to let me know your city and town you're from. Give me a 2 if you've actually been through this. And so you can agree with everything I've said because you've actually been through it. And give me a 3 if it didn't mean anything to you at all and it was stupid and a waste of time. I can accept that too. Do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe this video right now. If you could. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I am still in a club, if you're asking me. Yes, I am. The Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation. Born in 1974. Formed in 72. Established in 74. Still strong. So like and share and subscribe this right now if you could. And you can support this club. $ Biker Prez, Prez, on our Cash App or the Super Chat. We could really use your support. And we absolutely appreciate everything you do for us. My books are available on Amazon and Kindle, written under the pen name Black Dragon. John E. Bunch II, Prospects Bible, How to Prospect for a Traditional Motorcycle Club, President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership, the Public Relations Officer's Bible, and the Sergeant at Arms Bible, and the Prospects Bible for Women's Motorcycle Clubs. All available on Amazon and Kindle, and you can get your autographed copies, of course, from blackdragonsgear.com, blackdragonsgear.com. Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the morning about 10 a.m., and we'll be back on our news and other things. We got some great shows coming up and some really heartfelt shows. I've talked to some very interesting people lately, and I think you're going to like what we've got coming up for you in our new season. All right? Thanks for tuning in, you guys. God bless you all, and try to find a way to treat each other individually like precious pieces of solid gold, and your motorcycle club lives will be much better. I promise. Good night.